here. This one. You can see it's a 1985. Okay. I think the Mike Zuckerberg was born in 1984. Am I correct? I'm not sure when Michael Zuckerberg was born. Anyway, it's almost 30 years ago. This is the first social media site. It's not site, it's social networking, because that was based on the dial-up modem. Okay, so have you ever used the dial-up modem to connect the PC using the dial-up modem and using the PC is communication using, you remember the sound? Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, this is the dial-up router.
Yes, then there is a site to communicate. You can upload some messages. So that is 1980. So at that time, in my experience, some of my friends spend a lot of money for the communication fee, telephone fee, right? Because you need to anyway connect 24 hours sometimes. So for communication, the web was the first social networking site. But even though it still exists, but you need to pay, as far as I know. So I never log in or never go to, because they cannot survive actually the internet environment. So, but many of the user members who joined the web, the networking site, still the very popular scholar or researcher or the consultant in social networking. Some of them are published very well on the paper of them. So this is, but not many people recognize this website. So this is almost, I think, the first social networking site, which is kind of a father of the current social media site. So this is right now, as far as I know, you need to pay to be a member, because they cannot survive without membership. Okay. How many members right now? 2,693. So this is the first one. But nowadays, how many different social media sites? So too many to count. How many social media sites are you using currently? Facebook, some of them, many of them. Twitter, and these are the well-known Foursquare or the Flickr. And there are even every day the new social media site, and also currently they are changing the structure, their shape. Nobody knows where it goes. But anyway, it's true. Right now, current era, the current is under social media era. So, social media mining is it's a combination of social media site, social networking site with data mining. What is the data mining? So we'd like to find the hidden information, valuable information, using the pattern recognition from the data. Okay. So social media site has a lot of good information, sometimes the personal information. In terms of business, we'd like to know about what's the behavior of the customer. So what if we apply such a data mining technique to find even the user, me, I do not know what my preference, but somebody can analyze my data, then they can suggest something I probably like, the sports or this kind of activity. Then that is the purpose of the social media mining. So we'd like to discuss about many people are talking about such a social media mining and importance of the social media data, but it's not easy to find. It's well summarized or a definition or the discussion. So this is a good opportunity for us to see what is the social media data, what is the social media mining. For example, the social media mining is the one of example of social media mining. So GA, Mr. Mohammed presented last week. Successfully, he passed the PhD dissertation last week. So we will discuss about today the social media mining. Okay. This is a Facebook. How many of you guys are using Facebook? Half? How many of them are
All.
actively used? Active means at least once a day you check and upload the message, or at least one time you like or do something. So I think the 1/3, which means it's huge, right? So nowadays, I never checked the Mark Zuckerberg Facebook site. Is there anyone who checked? So what information? Can you find any good information?
He's posting about the internet.org.
Internet.org.
Which he is doing currently.
Okay. So this is how many? I didn't check the current statistics. How many Facebook users?
Over a billion.
Over a billion?
Okay.
Then what's the importance of the contents of such a Facebook data? Just so if, for example, if you are the owner of the Facebook, then what can you do? That's the difference between Mark Zuckerberg and us, right? Even though we have a chance to own such a data, if we cannot make the business model, we cannot be success. So anyway, but we can see what is the main difference between the company, in terms of company, Google and the Facebook? Both of them are internet company, very well-known internet company, but what's the main difference?
Search engine. Google's mainly doing search engine and other products and the social, and Facebook as well for social. No, there's information and it's
When you search, when you are using the Google, do you log on to search? No, usually not. Even scared. What about the Facebook? When you post a message, you must. That's the different thing. So, for example, even though you search the same data, like if you type the Apple, okay, what is the response of the Google search engine? It can return fruit apple, right? It also return Apple company. It may return the Isaac Newton apple, and it may return some is general, based on the general. If you give the more information like the Apple and computer, it may return the Apple company, right? But still, it may return a lot of information about the computer, a lot of information about the Apple itself. What about the Facebook? When you search the Apple from the Facebook, not only just the message, you can see some. You can see that this part is I don't think this is. Anyway, you can see some the advertisement. Okay, some related information. It may return differently. If you type the Apple, so that's the different output than me. If I post a lot of the Apple related stuff, like the apple picking or semester, so it may return the nearby farm, okay, to suggest the advertisement, marketing purpose. But if you upload a lot of messaging about the Apple computer, I hate this one, or I love the Apple, then they return mostly about the Apple computer stuff. What's the difference? Because Facebook knows your preference, your information, what you like. Unlike the Facebook, the Google doesn't. So Google actually scared about that. So more semantic search. So more close to the human being. When you are asking something question, I understand because I know about you are the student in my class, operating system or data mining. So when you are asking me, I can understand. But if I got the question generally, sometimes it's hard to answer. Just like that, the Google scared about that. That is the reason the Google focus on a lot for the Google Plus, but it cannot catch the Facebook. So that is the importance of the Facebook. It has a lot of actually scary things sometimes. Okay? So that is also, in other words, it can be your opportunity to do your business. Anyway, it's true. So we will see the importance of such a social media. It can be platform of the infrastructure of your business. not all people can be the Mark Zuckerberg. Even though you can go back to the 1980 something, can you do the same thing what the Mark Zuckerberg did? I don't think so. Even though you know the answer, but it's not easy. So sometimes somebody has, maybe lucky, but he may have something inside or the intuitive. So each one has different ability. So right now what we can do is, for me, I'm thinking about something research topic, not money, but you guys can think about some, from your side, you can think about something, your business or this good startup. Okay, so that's the what you want from this kind of thing. Okay. Did he graduate the Harvard?
No,
Graduate?
he didn't
I don't
finish.
think so.
He took some classes.
Yes, some
Yeah,
classes.
didn't finish. Yes.
And for high school, he graduated a very well-known private high school, like the Exeter in Boston. Sure, probably. Yeah, Phillips Exeter Academy, which is one of the best private high school. It's located in the Boston. Do you know what's the tuition of the Phillips Exeter? It's almost 50,000 a year. 50,000. Yeah. So that is how does the Facebook use your data. Another scary thing is nowadays it's very hard to access. It's they try to protect, but for developer, so it's very hard to collect the Facebook information. You can reach only the data who accept your app project. Okay, so what will see? So we already talked about a little bit for this. What about the Amazon? So Amazon, can you consider this is the social media site? No? Yes?
No.
What is the social media?
Network with different.
The media means it's
The way.
the way for interaction, right? So in media, right? So what about the social media? Social media means it's an interaction between the people, but based on the internet infrastructure, computing. What about the Amazon? When you purchase, usually you can use the Amazon website to purchase something, right? The textbook or the ebook using the Kindle. Not only just that, the Amazon can sell even vegetable.
Yeah.
Really, you can purchase the vegetable. So somebody said the grocery store will be gone near soon. Amazon will deliver everything. Then, when you purchase such item, what did you do? You search, then click, then buy it?
No.
You usually
Reviews.
check the review and everything. That's the communication. Sometimes you can get the help of unknown user, anonymous, but sometimes it's a power user. So that's kind of interaction. It can be considered as a social media site. And also, how can the Amazon use your information?
To market for projects.
It's a marketing.
Yeah.
So if you purchase a database textbook, they will keep the pop-up, there's some related the text. Sometimes you're surprised how the Amazon know what I want, really. So because last year, when I searched the textbook for my daughter, so my daughter actually go to the private school. The public school provide all the textbook, but the private school not. So list of it. When I search a couple of them, then the next one is automatically. How percent? I just click. How? So that is the important part of the social media mind. Using the, for example, if they can find the user who searched the similar thing, probably the college student who searched the database textbook need operating system tax, right? Because it's closely related. And those textbooks, well-known textbooks, are the limited, so they can easily get what they want. Also, if somebody purchases the textbook, then like the additional supplementary textbook or media can be suggested. So that's the simple, but even the Netflix is another good example for the such a recommendation system. When you watch the movie for this one, then when there is a new movie is released, then they can easily find who likes this based on the history. Even though you never the mark, I like the action movie, sci-fi movie, but they can guess based on the history. That is the another types of the social media mining. What is a what? App. Y-E-L-P.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never used that directly, but when I search the local company or local store, sometimes they do not have the website. There's no way to find, but the local store, local grocery store, local restaurant, they have a lot of information in this website, and also the review information is the same thing. So we can use the app for such a local marketing thing. And also Craigslist is also another social media. It's for based on the it looks like a free market, but it's the internet side. Twitter is well known. So what's the main difference between the Facebook and the Twitter?
Twitter is public.
Twitter is public.
Post a tweet.
Facebook,
Everybody can see
Facebook can be public, but what's the main difference? Do you use, how many of them are using the Twitter? But some of them use both of them, but sometimes not. Then when do you use the Twitter rather than the Facebook?
Good news. There's some
Family? Family?
Yeah.
Family info to Twitter? I usually use the
My husband
Facebook.
doesn't follow me.
Ah, I see. So
good news. To get some news.
to get the news, even nowadays the Facebook share a lot of news. It's getting increased. Sometimes I'm thinking about whether I close my Facebook because I receive too many. The post is shared. It's not original. But Twitter is more than that, right?
Limited.
So Twitter, in terms of the data structure, it allows 140 something.
Yes.
How many?
144.
44, 48. Any specific reason? I'm just curious. Anyone?
Maybe the size.
Size of what? Why? So 140 something. I don't know. But so limited is the short length of the message, and they can share with such a message with the follower. So in terms of such a relationship, the Facebook use the friend relationship, but the Twitter use the follower. But closeness, I think the Facebook is closer than the Twitter. However, the impact of the message is Twitter is more powerful. That's the difference. Okay, it has a difference. So it's a very like the personal preference is easy to find in Facebook. You can do the same thing the Twitter, but the Twitter is a different concept. So that is I'm not using the Twitter. I have the only account for test purpose, but because first time I didn't understand what is a Twitter, so I used the Facebook. Then I realized later, but so how can we use such a Twitter information? For the Facebook, we can find something individual preference, something the closeness of the group, like the family or whatever. The Twitter, as he said, that there's no follower or family. It's usually sometimes I scared to make a friendship with the unknown people in the Facebook. What about the Twitter? Doesn't consider, it's not very serious. It's not like the different. Just the follow, you accept the sometimes who is the most follower? So Justin Bieber? Really? Second, Justin Bieber is the second. Who is the first? So One Direction? Katy Perry right now? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not sure because my daughter said Justin Bieber was the first one a year ago, but I don't think the One Direction is the first one right now. It's one of the member. It's a great. Is it true that 20-something the kids suicide? Is it really true? I'm not sure. But anyway, so far the Twitter data, we can analyze, we can get the information or knowledge of the overall social group. Okay? The Facebook focus on such the personal individual group information, but the Twitter we can analyze the really social group, community, or even entire Earth. So something like that. Also, in terms of from the research perspective, it's easier to gather data than the Facebook. So that is one of the reasons many of the Tom project actually based on the Twitter. Okay, that is a social media science. So as you can see, the social media mining is a social theory. Anyone who took any course in sociology department or psychology? This kind of, actually you may realize that some of the topic is already, it's a long time discussion in sociology or the psychology department or even marketing, not social media mining. It's not new. Okay? So for example, user profiling, it has been used even in the crime scene, the investigation, or something, the marketing group. But nowadays it's boom up the half of the social media science. So it's a social theory, it's not the old one. So the traditional research topic in sociology and the psychology. And also we have the social media science, social media data. Then from the data mining perspective, we can do the social, the media mining. Okay. So because today in the morning I usually have the meeting, the research, the group meeting. On Tuesday morning, I have the 2 PhD students even in this group. So I mentioned about the importance of the sociology. Many of the topics that we discussed, like the influence user or something, the event from the Twitter, that has been actually discussed a lot in other research. It's the social media mining. It's not only for the computer science. Using the computer science technique can be interdisciplinary. So very powerful. But if you can bring the idea of the technique of the data mining, they will love. Okay? They know what is the importance or how can we characterize that problem. They know that. So if we can apply, if we can give the chance, opportunity to use the data mining technique, it will be huge impact. They need someone who knows such a technique and computer. Okay? So that is the things you can consider when you are studying the social media science. Okay? Then we will talk about some importance. So I didn't use this one when I designed the project, but as you can see, collect the green representative. So this step is similar as what you have done in the project. This is what you guys need to do for your project. So I think that you already. Also, I focus on a lot the interesting research issues, right? So that's the same thing. So we have if you are doing the exactly same thing, somebody already did, or the traditional topic, it's just learning. But if you bring the new idea, like one of the example in the long time, it's not long time ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, who is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks in NBA? Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, do you know how? Actually, he tried to buy the Chicago Cubs in Major League, but it's rejected because he is not from the traditional, like the leader group or something like that. Do you know how he make the money? He built a website for search statistics of the college basketball, NCAA, recently. Who was the winner of the March Madness? I cannot remember this time. It was not. Last year, it's UConn. Both the men and women won the national title. This time, only the woman. It's 3 consecutive years. But for the men, I cannot remember. But it's crazy for most of the young and even the American people. So he built a website. Then he said that website is simple. It's kind of the classroom project nowadays. So collecting all the game information for the NCAA, the basketball, then the search, the different way, like who is the highest percentage of the 3-point shot, something like that. Then he sell the company, that website to the Yahoo. Then he make the billionaire. Then he purchased some media site or the even Dallas Mavericks. They make the money. It's just from the idea. Okay. So nowadays there are so many, but so when you are doing the social media mining, think about the interesting topic, not the general idea. Okay. So what is the social media? I do not agree 100% of this definition, but I believe it's kind of reasonably general definition of the social media site. Okay, so I just read that this social media, the use of the electronic and the internet tool, that's the different thing. Social logic, social activity has been conducting the long time. But usually it's limited by the geographic location. Okay, like the classroom, classmate, or something in the town, or the company. But nowadays there's no limitation about that. So you can make a friend with the other side, or the family. Even though I'm separate from my parents, still communicate very easily, quickly. Even sometimes my mom called to me during my class. So that's because of the power of the internet. Okay, then this one is different. Share it. Okay, if we do not share anything, I don't think the social media company like such a user. So you need to share something. Okay, that's the power of start of the social media site. If we do not share, if we do not post anything, you don't have any friend. That's the worst user of the social media. That's the reason they keep asking doing something or interact with other, and they like the person who posted or like, collaborate a lot. That's the sharing. Discussing information has been doing the long time in the blog, traditional blog, but the Twitter is another new method, new media. Okay. With the other. So connectivity is very important. We are using such a connectivity. Okay? So these are the landscape of the social media site. So you can check how many of them you are using. So in my case, I'm using YouTube and the Flickr for research. Many of them are research purpose. SlideShare, a little bit, not actively. Skype I have used, but not right now. LinkedIn. Recently, I'm a little bit managing the LinkedIn. And Twitter, only for research purpose. And Facebook, yes. And what else? Not much. media. I think pretty much that's it. And probably you have the more than that, right? And also this one. Nowadays, I realized that the China, in terms of the population, is quarter of the total population in the earth, almost quarter, right? So also China, depending on the environment, so they have their own the social media site, mostly based on the Chinese, but that makes them bigger money. Okay, because of that, it has been focused a lot. So Baidu, or yeah, and what else? WeChat. So it's a messenger. So it's also very important. So I think they are not mentioned a lot in this. Okay. And also India also the same thing. So it's in terms of population, it's big, and also it's a very strong in terms of the technology and capability of the people. So I heard that India has their own such a social media site. Okay. And also Alibaba is the kind of a Chinese version of the eBay, and also is the what's the name of the guy? Maui. Yeah. Jack Ma. He's the richest guy in the world right now. So he started his job from the small apartment in Shanghai, and then right now he's the richest guy. So he started. It's the same as basically same as the eBay. Okay. So social media mining is the process of representing, analyzing, and extracting meaningful pattern from the social media data. So this is the same as the traditional definition of the data mining, but from the data point of view, so it uses social media data. So which means you need to understand the characteristic of the social media data. What is the main difference? So social media data is usually big, much bigger than the traditional data type. So big data actually started from Ignite by the Obama government several years ago announced that the US government would like to support the big data research because the US government has a huge amount of data which has not been used a lot. They have the US census data, some energy data, something educational data, and even the military data. But they are holding, the government hold such a data, but it's not used. What if we use such a data to support one thing that I missed during the term project was I mentioned that one of the objectives to use such a big data or the data analysis for the underrepresented group who cannot access such a data. Because we are very familiar with such a social media data or getting the information, so but there are a lot of people who cannot easily access such a data. So using such a big data or data analytics, why don't we provide such the important information which does not need a lot of money. It's not sold by the company. So for the public, the purpose, so why don't we focus on such a part? But I forgot to mention about such a thing. Anyway, so Obama government, actually that is because of the economy. So to boom up, so to make the economy go very well, it's true the money should going around. Otherwise, if the money is staying, like everybody hold their asset in their pocket, the economy will be disaster. So it should be going around. But sometimes, so because of the invisible hand, it's a stop. So suddenly stop. So to give the oil turning around, the government sometimes put the money. At that time, the traditional way is construction, like the New Deal. After the Great Depression, so New Deal is building the dam or the construction. They don't care where it goes, but the infrastructure you can even see after you spend the money. So right now still the economy is not the better. So government need to make the better the economic environment. So they need to spend the money. So they want to build a new dam or the new port. No, so it's an internet era. So government would like to spend the money for such a big data research, though that ignite such a the opportunity. And when such a social media data, mostly it's a big data. It's a big. Okay. And also the social media. If you take a look at the UCI data set, for example, in the project, it's well organized. There's no error, no noise data, so you can, when you apply the any data mining algorithm, sometimes it clearly shows the cluster or whatever. What about the social media data? Sometimes it's hard to, whether output is correct or not, whether I can classify, because of the sparseness and also noise, a lot of noise data. So that should be done. Also, as we have discussed a lot, evaluation. So traditional data are set, many of them has the ground truth. So it's easy to evaluate. What about the social media data? For example, I'd like to build a recommendation system. So if you have something, the true data, yes, but when you evaluate, sometimes it's very subjective, sometimes for example, one of the project in one of the term project in our class is for example, using the Twitter also card the information, so preference of the party. How can you get whether really this user is a Republican or this user is a Democrat? Do you ask that? It's not easy. So the evaluation is the dilemma. So I suggest like using why don't you classify each state by whether this is the Democratic or Republican using your algorithm. Then compare with the result from the last presidential campaign. So from the 50 states, how many of them are correctly classified, something like that. So you need to find the alternative way to evaluate your algorithm. So, however, to understand the social media data, due to the nature of the social media data, is based on the connectivity, relationship. So, in other words, each entity, each user will be entity. Okay. In other words, node. Then they have the connection or relationship. Okay, something each other. Such an activity that can be considered the edge, which means the most of the data, social media data, can be represented by the graph. So it is true. The graph, social media mining, social media data processing is nothing but the graph processing. So graph is very important, the data structure in social media mining. So we will see the graph. Okay. So network is a graph. Social media data sometimes is called as a social network due to the nature of the social media data. It's a social network, so this is kind of graph. Okay. So we can use the user as an entity. Then, depending on the characteristic of the social media site, so sometimes, for example, in Twitter, it's a tweet and follower, such an information can be used. Also, you can measure the rate of the relationship using how many followers or how many times a retweet, something like that. So, for example, he follows me, so whenever I post it, the retweet rate is 70%. Okay, so 7 out of 10 message tweet will be retweeted by him. But this user is only 1 out of 100. So this relationship definitely different from the other. So we can use such a relationship in the graph easily. Okay. So to understand the social media, the mining, definitely you guys need to understand the graph theory. So that is a very important part of the social media mining. So this is one of the example of the graph in the internet. Okay, it's actually the visualization of the graph using the internet. Okay. So social network, as I mentioned, is the actor or type actor will be the user. The actor can be represented by the node, and on the other hand, the edges is a ties, okay, and relationship or connectivity. And then we can sometimes say there is a social network analysis. Okay. Any question? So which means you need to study the graph theory. So we will see basic the graph theory, but that's just the taste of the graph theory. So if you really want to do such, especially for the PhD student who are doing the, who want to pursue the social media mining or the social network analysis, definitely study about the graph theory. So this one, the visualization of the high school friendship, but as you can see, it's the high school dating. It is the blue represent the boy and the other girl. Sometimes the many girlfriend or boyfriend, but you can see something high chart. It's very interesting. I'm not sure whether this is a recent data. I just copied from this website. If you read the textbook, you will see more information about that. Very interesting. This is from the
Professor, this is one of the oldest data sets in social network analysis.
So all the study. Then
They
what
use
is the
it
objective of this one?
In a real data, in a real
Yeah.
school.
So what is the objective?
It, I think the high school friendship, they want to see like whether the African American and the white, the Hispanic, who
So
are they friends with?
based on the demographic information,
Yes,
they try to see
that's one
some
of the-
pattern of that thing. So graph. So graph is the data structure consisting of what? A set of nodes and set
Edges.
of the edges. So node can represent the actor. In other words, the user, entity. While on the other hand, the edges can represent such a relationship. So that's the simple definition. Also, if you wanna formalize such a definition, so we can use the, for example, graph G consists of V and E. So V represents the set of the vertex and the E represents the set of the edges. So or the type, then you can define depending on your data set. V is something and the E is something. So that's the way, formal way to define your problem. Okay? So such a tightness or the time or the edges can be various. It depends on the type of the social media site. So for example, if you are using the Facebook, it can be represented by the how many favorite, not favorite, like. Okay? So that can be measured as an activity. On the other hand, the Twitter is a retweet or follow. And the Flickr is how many favorite for the portal, uploaded portal. Also the Amazon website is how many reviews, okay? And the how many likes for the review and the dislike. So that can be used for the measurement of the for the node. This is for node. Node is the entity User is the user, okay? And what is called the actor. This is the relationship. So usually, our goal is to do something for the user entity using what? Using such a relationship. Okay, that's the semantic of the graph. Social media graph. Okay, so there are different types of the graph we will see. Okay, directed graph means the edges has the direction. That is the directed graph. What is the example of the directed graph in social media data? Follower. So follower is one way. What about the friendship? So no. So it's each other, so there's no direction. Okay? So friendship, each other, that's the different thing. Sometimes the directed graph is called arc, that's another. Okay? So this one, and even though if we have the same edges, entities, but because of the different type of the edges, this graph and this graph is totally different. You can understand. Neighborhood means so from the graph and how many two types of the neighborhood outgoing, okay, from the V6 to neighborhood, and but also incoming neighborhood, which means the V5 has two incoming in neighborhood. Okay, that's different from the V6. So that is the neighborhood. You can use the neighborhood to characterize the type of user. Intuitively, if you have many neighborhood, which means it's more powerful, more influence, okay, comparing to the user who does not have many followers. Okay, then you can measure, you can different the impact of the user. So using that neighborhood, we can define the degree of the user. So it's the number of the neighborhood, okay, both in and out. Before we discuss, it's not so, but I'd like to. What is a theorem? What is the difference between definition and theorem? Theorem is a formula.
It is proved.
It can be proved. Okay. Definition is just defined. It's like the axiom. Okay. What is the line? What is the point? What is the graph? It's a definition. Using them, for example, C square is equal to A square plus B square, Pythagorean theorem, which means you can prove mathematical way. That is a theorem. Then what is a lemma? So for example, in this case, the summation of the degree in an undirected graph is twice the number of edges. So undirected graph, which means it's related to node. So total number of the edges will be 2 times of edges, right? That's maybe true because one edge related to 2 nodes, right? It's a theorem, you can prove it. Then what about the lemma? So in this case, the number of nodes with the odd degree is even. Why? Because twice, always even. Actually, it's purely based on this theorem, but also you can prove a special case of this one, right? In case of odd number, it's 2 times, it's an even number. That is called the lemma. It's not new idea, but it's a special case. It's purely depend on the existing theorem. You can easily prove it. Lemma 2 is the same thing. So that means when you write a paper, recently it's very hard to see such a formal way of the description. The best way when you prove your idea is mathematics. So if you can use, so you can explain the descriptive language. So I'd like to use the graph for the Facebook data, and I will use the Facebook user for the node. And instead, why don't you use the mathematical notation? So you can give the definition, and also if there's a new the theorem, you can give it and prove it. Then using the output of the theorem, you can actually propose your idea. Then it's a perfect. Then using experiment, you can prove your idea supporting. So that is the ideal way. Not always is true. Also, you have the specific condition. It's nowadays, can all the equation or idea can be theorem? No. If that has an impact, okay? It's a general case.